Carlos.
Él les di instrucciones. We give him instructions. Quiero que se haga una limpia.
The crowd is cheering Canelo because he's an unusual-looking Mexican who looks more like he comes from County Cork. He is called Cinnamon. His father sells cinnamon ice cream. Is he the flavor of the month or the year?
You almost have the feeling here that this is the main event and Mosley Moore is the walkout fight. I mean, this crowd is pumped.
Not a few of this crowd have come to see Alvarez.
Yeah. And there he is, called Canelo, which in Spanish means cinnamon. An obvious reference to the flaming red hair. Not just in Guadalajara, but in all of Mexico. He is a star, he is a hero, he is a heartthrob.
And Oscar is hoping he's the next Oscar. When he went to watch him fight down there, he said, there are girls and women coming to see him, just like they did for me.
De La Hoya was unique in that regard. Good left hook for Alvarez. And already there's a red mark on Baldomir's cheek.
Well, that's a trademark of his. The way he fights, he's going to get marked up.
Good left hook for Baldomir. Sweeping it over the top. Lead left hook for Alvarez. Not bothering with the jab there, and a hard right hand.
As you can see, Alvarez is a well-schooled young fighter.
He has a clear advantage in quickness and hand speed against a fighter like Baldomir. If he ever fights the very top fighters in the welterweight or even the junior middleweight divisions, those advantages might go away, and he'll have to find other ways to make his point. Probably the punching power, along with the overall skills. This time, Alvarez does not look in any way distracted by the event. Nervous, paying attention to things other than what he should be paying attention to. This time, he appears to be focused on the opponent in front of him. The reference there to the first round against Jose Cotto in Vegas on the undercard of Mosley Mayweather.
Relax, relax, son, relax.
Relajado, no te lo quieras comer ahorita.
You're not going to want to eat them all at once. He's short, but he can catch with that punch, with that hook. He's got fast hook. Fast hook. You got to fake, you got to hit him, touch two or three punches, and then move out. Fake him, don't go in. Fake, hit, go to the side. You got to finish off with three. Feeling good? Good. Relax. It's the first round, just like sparring. Relax. Up and down. Carlos, you're boxing very well.
Combi box numbers in one. Alvarez 13 out of 38. Baldomir 5 out of 40. Neither fighter tremendously accurate. Neither fighter tremendously active, but Alvarez clearly getting the better of Baldomir in round one.
Alvarez said that Baldomir is a test he needs. For one round, he passed the test. And Baldomir said, Jim, that he was going to knock the freckles off his face. Haven't heard that line for a long time.
Now, Baldomir, who's never been much of a trash talker, stepped up his game in the build-up to this fight, perhaps realizing that at 39 and with not much to bring to the ring physically anymore, he'd better be a player as a character.
Well, you know, I think maybe older fighters feel not just that they have to intimidate the opposition, but they have to raise their own game.
Yep. And incidentally, they've been around long enough. They understand the audience better than the younger fighters. They know a little bit better about what sells tickets and what gets people to come to the fights.
But he's not fighting with the certitude and the assertiveness that he did when he had that terrific run a few years ago.
When he beat Zab Judah and Arturo Gatti.
He used to punch and be the aggressor while he was figuring out the fight. Now he's sort of laying back and trying to figure it out. Maybe that's the definition of being 39 in this case.
Yeah. Alvarez landed another one of those hooks. His trainer calls it the fast left hook. There's the fast left hook again. Have you ever put the right hand together with the fast left hook? Then we'll see if he has the power to put the aging Baldomir down. Part of the narrative of the fight, because Baldomir hasn't been knocked out in decades. Just took 3 solid shots there, including an excellent body shot that Alvarez mixed into the combination.
Break. Think close.
Mexican fans want to see the body shots.
Break. Suelta. Suelta.
Alvarez lands a few Baldomir lands a few punches, stepping inside. Alvarez seems to be looking for something as he allows himself to be hit a couple times by Baldomir. Straight right hand was just a little under the target.
Break. Suelta, suelta. Mira la campana, vivos.
Alvarez starting to land more right hands now.
Stop.
And one more left hook to punctuate the round.
Hielo. ¿Cómo estamos?
Ice, how you feeling? Okay.
Carlos. Dame una toalla. Dame una
Where's the
toalla.
towel?
Tranquilo.
Relax.
Carlito abre mucho la mano. Me
Carlos,
gustaría que busques
he
el
opens
uppercut
up
para
his
dentro de
shots
derecha.
too much. Get the uppercut on the right hand side.
Jab y combinas y juega.
Jab and combinations, jab combinations and to the outside.
Son 12 rounds, no son
There's
3
12
ni 4,
rounds, not 3 or 4. Jab, more jabs, more jabs. Use the combinations, fake them, and short punches.
Okay.
Combi box numbers in the second round. Alvarez getting a little more dominant, landing more consistently. 17 out of 37 that round. Baldomir threw 63 punches in the round, only landed 9 of them. Harold, how do you have it through 2?
Tell the kid it's 12 rounds. It's a 10-round fight. 2-0. 20-18, Canelo Alvarez. You know, Jim, Carlos Baldomir looks really slow. Now, we weighed him in the dressing room. He was 169 before he left his dressing room. And I tell you, it really shows. This ain't the same guy that fought Arturo Gatti on HBO a few years back. I mean, very, very slow. He seems to be pushing his punches. On the other hand, Canelo Alvarez, sharp left hooks, constantly coming forward, effective aggressiveness, good clean punching. 2-0, Canelo Alvarez.
Baldomir was thought to be out of the sport. He's here because we can recognize his name and cite his championship-level credentials from the past. Alvarez is 20 years old. And remember, already with an official record of 33-0-1 with 25 KOs, he claims that he has 13 more wins, which do not appear on the official record. Who knows if maybe someday they will. Hard right hand for Alvarez. Countering over the top of Baldomir's left.
Stop.
Even though they're standing almost in a toe-to-toe stance, Baldomir seems on occasions tentative because of the difference in hand speed.
But now Baldomir's letting loose a little bit more, and he did land 2 counter right hands on Alvarez in that last sequence. Seems to have decided that the only way to stop Alvarez's left hook is to throw against it, and he's trying to counter it with a right hand.
Sometimes a veteran fighter believes that in a long fight that the younger fighter, the less experienced fighter, will fall apart. And
Break.
that may be what Baldomir has in mind. He's 20 years old. He's got a 17-year-old son he's training as a fighter.
And he's fighting a 20-year-old.
Stop. No. Limpio. Hey, what's that?
All right, main event still to come between Sergio Mora and Shane Mosley. Referee Pat Russell gave instructions recently to Mora. Now round 4 begins between Baldomir and Alvarez. Power punches through round 3. CompuBox, pretty much a wipeout. Alvarez is 27 out of 56. Baldomir only 9 out of 63. If you're watching at home and you saw that interview or that moment in the dressing room with the referee giving instructions to Sergio Mora, and you're looking at Mora and you said to yourself, gosh, he sure looks big and rangy for a 154-pound fighter, you're right. Larry, is he really a middleweight?
Well, his first fight was as a middleweight, and usually fighters get bigger, not smaller. He can fight at both weights, but it's just an indicator of the size difference, the natural size difference between him and Mosley, who fought 32 fights as a lightweight.
And if you say to yourself, well, maybe Mora gives away punching power coming down to 154, it's not an issue. He has only 6 knockouts in his career, so it's not as if he's trying to generate power anyway. Good right hand by Alvarez, and now there's a mouse under the right eye of Baldomir. Speed and quickness advantage for Alvarez, showing up round after round here.
You know, I'm just thinking, Jim, you know, Winky Wright wasn't a knockout puncher, but he had his way with Mosley in their first fight. Second fight was much closer. So the size can matter if it's used in the right way. The size isn't mattering very much here as far as we can see yet.
The first 4 losses of Shane Mosley's career were all to fighters, Vernon Forrest and Winky Wright, who were significantly taller than Shane. Sergio Mora fills that bill. Some fighters would simply stay away. Maybe most fighters in Shane's position with his credentials would say, why should I fight somebody like Mora, who's bigger than me and has no big reputation? But Shane says, who's the best opponent for me now? I want to fight.
That's why the great fighters in boxing history all have losses on their records. They had that attitude.
Was that a little bit of a wobble from Baldomir after the right hand from Alvarez? Takes a left hook too.
Now this is the Baldomir we know, just walking
trying to
through
give as good as he gets, and momentarily whacked Alvarez with a right hand.
And Baldomir taps himself on the chin as he walks back to the corner as if to say, that's my chin, pal, kid.
Carlos, close your eyes. When you chase him, he catches you. He catches you and he catches you. Throw him in the middle and you keep him busy, you keep him thinking. And finish off with more than 2 punches. You're waiting. He's waiting for you. Intelligently, Carlos. Don't let him build confidence. Intelligently. 1-2, 1-2. Move your head. Remember that. 1-2. Move your head. He's got nothing.
No tiene nada. No tiene nada.
You got nothing there.
No, no.
Do I have anything there? Nothing, nothing.
CompuBox numbers show that round 4 was the best of the fight for Baldomir. He landed 15 of 70 punches. Alvarez, 20 of 37.
If it indicates anything, which it doesn't always, it's that he's starting to close the difference. We'll see if he can turn the difference around.
But Harold Letterman still has Alvarez winning every round. So he has a 4-point advantage coming to the 5th. And once again, as Harold pointed out, it's not a 12-round fight, as Alvarez was told in his corner. It's a 10-round fight. If he wants to fight the 2 extra rounds, he can do it in his dressing room after all is said and done.
It appears that Alvarez is now sensing, what he's in with. And now taking more calculated chances as we get into the middle of the fight.
Well, there was a moment a couple of years ago when Alvarez won 4 consecutive 10-round decisions. And I asked him, I said, look, did you let off of the knockout accelerator just to gather some rounds? And he said, yes. He said, absolutely, that was the plan. It was a period in my career when I had not fought rounds in a while, and I felt like I needed to get back to the comfort zone of understanding that I could win fights by decision, and I did it 4 times in a row.
Stop.
Goes to show you that the kid is thinking, not just in there whacking away.
In Mexico, the only bigger attraction in sports is the national soccer team.
Meaning among current Mexican stars, fighters like Eric Montiel and Jorge Arce and various others that we can name, maybe even Juan Manuel Marquez, don't have the drawing power that Alvarez has.
Well, everybody loves a young athlete. They want to ride his coattails to glory.
Referee Jose Cobian is calling the 2 fighters together because I think he feels as though he's losing control a little bit in there. I mean, wouldn't be at all surprised if Baldomir were to try some very rough stuff.
Well, he's sensing that he's got to start imposing himself.
Hard right hand by Alvarez. That one shook Baldomir.
Stop.
Pressure from Baldomir, but his face shows the price he's paying for that. And a little while ago, you heard Pat Russell's instructions to Sergio Mora. Let's hear what he had to say to Shane Mosley.
This is a solid workmanlike effort so far by the 20-year-old Alvarez. Something he needs in his evolution and development as a fighter. The fight isn't over yet, I should add. And I can't say that he's dazzled me, Jim.
Harold, how do you have it so far?
Okay, Jim, 5-0, 50-45, Canelo Alvarez. You know, Jim, I think he's getting discouraged, hitting the guy with them Sunday punches, and the guy's going nowhere. I mean, Baldomir takes some shot. He really does have a good jaw. Carlos Baldomir looks winded. His mouth is wide open. He does look like a tired fighter. But I tell you, he takes a heck of a good shot. You can't give him credit for getting hit in the jaw, but he does take a good punch. He hasn't gone down, and Alvarez has landed some really good Sunday punches. 5-0, Canelo Alvarez.
So, Larry, you were about to say he has not.
I don't think he's dazzled everybody. It's a really solid performance from a young fighter. And someday we may look back on it and saying, this is where this fight stood at that time if he becomes a serious champion. And let's give him the benefit of any doubt. Look who he's fighting. I mean, it's an old guy, but one of the toughest old birds we've seen in recent years.
You know, I called his fight, talking about Saul Alvarez, Canelo, I called his fight against Jose Cotto earlier this year. And I absolutely agree with you, Larry. He is a very solid, well-schooled, very substantial, stable, calm, good young fighter. He has everything except the great quickness that sets superstars apart in this sport.
Or the power so far. But in another year or so, or two, when he's fighting elite fighters, all that will come into play.
I think he's fighting in the right weight class here, although his plan is to try to win a welterweight championship, and everyone around him still says he's a natural welterweight. I think when you think of the speed of the top fighters in the welterweight division, and the possibility that fighters from the 140-pound class like Alexander, Bradley, and Khan could conceivably move up, he doesn't have the speed to fight those guys. He can beat guys like this at 154. And he's gradually accumulating enough punishment against Baldomir that he may actually get the Argentine veteran out of there, and that would be a credential.
It would be a statement. And Baldomir has taken tremendous punishment. And this is dazzling.
Down goes Baldomir on a rocket left hook. That's the biggest moment of the night for the crowd. They're going wild. And the count is finished, and he knocked Baldomir out. Not a TKO, a knockout. That's what they wanted.
That was a dazzling finish.
That is a marketing platform. That is a calling card. That is a signature. That is an identity on which to build. And, right there.
And if he hits a welterweight who doesn't have the chin of this guy,
unbelievable. Lights out.
We might see a different kind of power. They hadn't seen him in Los Angeles. This is what they came to see. This kind of a finish.
Now imagine Baldomir took that right hand, and there's the left hook. Oh my gosh.
The left hook, the punch you don't see coming, ends it. That wasn't a cinnamon stick, Jim. That was a cinnamon hook.
That was a cinnamon sledgehammer.
Here at Staples Center, the end comes at 2 minutes, 58 seconds, round number 6. The winner by knockout victory, de Guadalajara, Mexico. Still undefeated and still the WBC silver belt super welterweight champion, Saul El Canelo